Southwest Florida, welcome back to Lee Pierce Live. We're so thrilled that you put us on your list of things to do. I think you're going to be thrilled as well. We have a special guest here who will be joining us, Abdul'Haq Muhammed, the Executive Director of the Quality Life Center of Southwest Florida, a pillar in the community and certainly an oasis in the Dunbar community. We'll catch up with him and we'll talk about some of the things that has been permeating through the news as it relates to the funding that has been cut by the city of Fort Myers to this outstanding organization. We'll be right back. Southwest Florida, welcome back. So thrilled to get Abdul'Haq Muhammed of the Quality Life Center here, the founder and the executive director. Muhammed, welcome to Lee Pierce Live.
Thank you, Lee.
You have been very busy in the past few days. I would say that because of the decision by the city of Fort Myers to cut their allocation of funding of about $137,000 to the Quality Life Center, the preeminent youth development organization here in Fort Myers and probably in all of Southwest Florida. From what I have seen you say in various news pieces, you were actually surprised that that happened. You had been told that that would not happen.
Well, we had reason to be optimistic that we would be included in the budget. And so once that became clear to us, it was a shock.
Now, it's even more of a shock when the community and all the powers that be seems to be so excited about the advancement that the Quality Life Center is making in the community, now being able to, with your new building coming online, being able to service all of those teens that have had outgrown the Quality Life Center and weren't being captured. I want you to unpack that for me and kind of describe that circumstance.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Lee. The expansion of Quality Life Centers centered upon the need to serve a lot of children that we've been turning away. Over 200 children each year, and many of whom were teenagers. And so that's what sparked us to build another facility with the help of some good people that made it possible in dollars and the community at large. We were successful in developing such a building. We're expected to be completed, that construction, in about 3 to 4 weeks now. That building will open up, and it's called the Teen Center for Leadership Development. We're focusing on inspiring our young people, exposing them to careers. The relationship with FGCU will provide the School of Entrepreneurial Training, business, education, etc. So we're very excited about that. But these cuts come at a very critical time for the organization. As a nonprofit raising money, we've raised over $1.7 million now. By doing so, we've had to maintain everyday operations of our program. This cut comes at a time that impacts us greatly, and simultaneously, the dollars we receive from the county are being deferred until next year. And so at this point, both of those dollars are being absent from the budget of Quality Life Center, puts us in a very difficult position to continue to serve the children at the pace and level we have been.
Without getting those funds of over $137,000, without getting those funds, give me some general ways that it impacts the services that you have been able to provide so eloquently and great for our community.
Well, the partnership with Quality Life Center in the city of Fort Myers have been a very productive one, at least about 11 years now. Without the city's involvement, we would not be able to serve at the level that we have. So we're very grateful. We want that to be understood, that the city has been a steady partner, and we have also reciprocated the trust in providing services at a high level. With that being said, I think at this point, the council is showing a sign of being out of touch with the realities of what's going on in the community. And when I say out of touch, one must understand that these services that are being provided not only by Quality Life Center, but the other 25 agencies that are being cut, those services are preventing crime, are helping to stabilize families, are creating opportunities of hope and stability that prevents young people, parents, in going into the juvenile justice system and the criminal justice system. So we're saving the city money by these programs being in existence. And to just arbitrarily cut these programs is a poor judgment and shows that we have a council out of touch with the realities of what's going on in the community.
Now let's go big picture, and we'll come back to that micro level. The total allocation for nonprofit or social service type programs in our community is about $375,000, right?
That's right.
And my understanding is they're going to shift all of that money to the STARS complex, and could have been over 30 or 25 organizations that would be impacted by that.
26 organizations that are being impacted by that shift of dollars. And what we understand is going on to the STARS complex and possibly the Police Athletic League.
Now they say that from that the reason being is that the city of Fort Myers is no longer going to be supporting organizations that are not a part of the city of Fort Myers. The STARS complex, for all I know, is a part of Parks and Recreation. It's a part of the city of Fort Myers. I see the Quality Life Center and all these other social services as being a part of the city of Fort Myers. Tell me how you see all of those things.
Well, again, it's an indication that the council is out of touch with the realities and the needs of citizens in the community. The city of Fort Myers has not been providing those various services that are provided by 26 nonprofit organizations. And that partnership is critical to continue to help young people and families in our area. And so that shift of money now could create instability in many of these nonprofits, and certainly it comes at a difficult time for Quality Life Center as we are about to complete the expansion of our teen center.
Why couldn't the STARS complex, with the money, the expansion of the STARS complex, fulfill the mission that the Quality Life Center has been doing for over 25 years here? Why couldn't they just fill that void?
Why can't the STARS
Yeah, right.
fill the void?
Why wouldn't the STARS complex be able to fill the void of what Quality Life Center does?
Well, I doubt it. There are two different philosophical views, how we interpret and analyze the needs of young people, our analysis and approach to stimulating and inspiring young people. Our vision is to demystify the world for young people, and we do that by academic enrichment, performing arts, counseling, mentoring. And so our holistic approach is designed to uplift children and give them a vision for the future. And that's important. When young people have a vision and they're being educated as to how to bring that vision in reality, that's powerful. And so the STARS or anyone else by themselves cannot accommodate the needs of children in the city of Fort Myers by themselves. I think that's a very skewed interpretation when you hear people from the city talk about we're taking care of our own, as though the children we're serving currently are not their own. These are city children. These are families in the community. And these families has been disconnected with resources historically. And so we need more nonprofits. And understand, we're not talking about taking anything away from the STARS. The STARS has been also underfunded for many years. Everyone has known that, underfunded. And so I'm happy to see that the city have woken up or awakened to provide the city of Fort Myers STARS complex more resources. At the same time, we're making a serious mistake to shift resources from productive organizations. We're productive. We have received a status of being the top 50 best performing after-school programs in the nation, a designation 2 years ago we received by the White House in Washington, D.C. And so you don't take productivity and dismiss it. You don't remove money that could destabilize the effectiveness of a program that's really working.
That is something that award speaks highly of the contribution that the Quality Life Center has made to the community. Give us an idea of the amount of families and children that you touch each year.
It varies, but we're on an average in the range of 300 to 350 of our children. It ranges from the various programs that we provide. And what is different about our program is that we're talking about children that come regularly to the program. We're talking about services that are repeated, that brings about a greater stability for those children. We monitor their progress. We've prepared children for the school of learning. That means that when they go into public school, they've been prepared to read, to write, and to perform at an early age. And so it would have an impact. Resources have impact. And I'll share something with you. There's a gentleman you know about. He's deceased now, but his message is alive. He says, money is not everything, but it's way up there next to oxygen. And so when you begin to shift, and I think the
Tony
community.
Brown.
No,
Tony Brown.
No,
German?
that's Zig Ziglar.
Okay.
That made that statement.
Okay, I heard
and so
Tony didn't quote
when
him
you
properly.
begin to move resources from the community and at the same time see downtown and other areas proliferating in growth and development, then somewhere along the line we're not understanding the direct correlation between prevention and dollars helping and preventing crime and helping children.
One of the things Councilman Johnny Street said is that first of all, Johnny Streets was the only council person that voted in favor of funding all of the organizations. He said that there is money elsewhere, that the Stars Complex could get their money and all these other organizations could get their money. I think he used the word in the reserves.
That's correct.
And I understand the city of Fort Myers has a pretty large multi-million-dollar reserve in place.
I don't know the amount, but I understand that there's not only a reserve, but the city financially is doing better, much better than it has in recent years.
Based on what we were just discussing, what would be the motive for the city council, everybody except for one person, to not vote for funding these organizations?
I don't know the motive. I can't look into their hearts. But their decision demonstrates a blind side when it comes to neighborhoods that have historically struggled. And today we're even seeing children and their various challenges, psychological challenges that have been impacted 20 years past, 30 years past, and we're dealing with those issues today. It's a sign of a council being out of touch and insensitive about the socio-economic challenges that neighborhoods and areas like Dunbar and East Fort Myers, Pine Manor, and other areas, North Fort Myers, are experiencing.
One of the things is when you look at the list of the, I think we said 25 organizations that were being cut, directly or indirectly, many of them provide services to low-income, underserved communities, minority communities. Any direct correlation there that says something, again, about the lack of sensitivity?
Well, I think it's a trend that you might see all over the country. There's a climate in this country that is desensitized when it comes to serving people who have historically been underserved. When you have an organization that has been productive, as we have, since our inception, we've brought into that area, those zip codes, over $23 million worth of services. We have hired people. We've been an economic impact in that community. And when you examine all of the economic indicators, why would you shift and threaten and destabilize a productive organization that's serving citizens in the city of Fort Myers? The Stars cannot serve over 10,000 children that it has in the city of Fort Myers. And so partnerships is wise because everyone does not necessarily have the circumspect view of how to serve all of the needs of the community. That's why you need various nonprofits with that insight.
Two-pronged question. What about Councilman Johnny Streets allows him to see deeper into the circumstances than the other city councilmen and the mayor?
I think, number one, Johnny Streets come from that district or that area. Number two, he's living in that area. Number 3, he served professionally as a police officer. He served on the board or served within the housing authority. I think Johnny Streets have a heightened sensitivity about the needs of people who are struggling economically and have been deprived of opportunities. With that said, it would show a sign of ignorance and a lack of appreciation when there's someone on the board that has that type of insight that you totally ignore and not support when it comes to decisions that the council is making, such as shifting dollars away from those 26 nonprofit organizations.
You have 2 other city council people who sit on that council, African Americans, Terrellyn and Teresa Watkins Brown. They both have wards that cross-pollinate through those areas as well. Are you saying they don't have that sensitivity?
I think that they have a level of sensitivity, but it's not sufficient. And it's not about the hue or the color of a person representing the city. It's about a mentality. It's about a heart. It's about the time that they spend with the people. Now, I'm not saying that those 2 council people don't know the people, but there are some blind spots and it's lacking. And as a result, I think it's important that the citizens of Fort Myers recognize that there's a process called participatory democracy. And when it's time to vote, they need to make, meaning the citizens of Fort Myers need to make wiser choices and turn out to the voting polls to get people who are truly going to represent the needs of that community. And apparently there are some who are not doing so.
When we talk about $375,000 grand total roughly, and about $137,000 of that would go to the Quality Life Center. Many people who I've spoken to, they have said that's not even a lot of money, Lee, for a big city to, for all of this to be going on. What's going on? My question to you, what's going on?
Well, let's do the math. Look at the budget of the city, look at the budget of the county, and look at the small percentage that is dedicated to the social needs of communities that have truly been neglected and overseen or not paid attention to by our city and our county. Look at that number. Compare that number of social service programs and the overall budget. Follow the money. And that will tell you where city council feels is most valuable. It's certainly not showing that they value the citizens in those areas that we're talking about.
I want you to speak to this as well. What do you say to the people who say, hey, Quality Life Center, they appear to be self-sufficient. They appear to have the go-getterness. They have the ability to raise money. In fact, they raised over $1 million for the new building that's behind them. Quality Life Center can raise that money easily compared to some of the other organizations. Go.
I wouldn't say easily at this point, but they got a point. In other words, our mentality, our philosophical view about providing services in the community is not based on victimhood. We don't see ourselves as a victim. Many people talk about God but don't live it. God is an awesome God, and God is capable of providing whatever our needs are. So we rely on that. At the same time, why would you hurt an organization that is so productive at a time when it's building a new facility to provide services for teens who desperately need it, and cripple or destabilize that organization? So here's the point. Yes, we can raise money, and God willingly, we will raise money.
I know you will.
That money is chinging right now. But why would you hurt a partner that is so productive in providing services and resources to the community without bringing that partner to the table and have a discussion and say, look, we're planning to cut these programs in another year. Begin to make the necessary shifts that you need to make so that when that time comes, you're prepared. I understand that we have to make hard choices. Right now, I'm making hard choices at Quality Life Center. We've already begun to cut staff hours, and we're going to make more cuts depending upon the outcome come Monday. I understand that. So we believe in self-sufficiency. We believe that we can make something happen. And to understand, when you say nonprofits, we're not just another group with a tin cup begging for money. we're producing, man. We're producing every day. And there are children that are graduating from college, doing well. We're helping children to deal with their psychological problems that they have. These different organizations, 26 of them, are touching lives every single day that the city will not touch. But I guarantee you, if you shift resources and those services that have been provided, you will find that there'll be more lines of people who need. You'll find that your jails will begin to increase in attendance and other issues that is going to beg for resources from the city.
What are you hearing from the parents and other people in the community since this news has gone public?
I hear a couple of things. One, there's a segment of people that are just hurt and shocked and surprised that the city would do such a thing to these nonprofits, particularly Quality Life Center, who they know. I'm talking about parents now, because they know the benefit that their children are receiving, and they have seen us in action. We're not a new organization. We've stood the test of time. And when it was difficult, we overcame it. They know that. And so they're shocked. And then there are people who are literally praying every day. I walked in the barbershop yesterday, and a woman started praying for me and said, Muhammad, I know that you will see this through and God will bless you. Now, that's where I thrive, you see, because when you talk about God, you got to bring it home. And I believe that we're not only going to get the dollars, we will exceed. And so every pressure will bring the best of our abilities forth. And I say to people, lose not heart, nor fall into despair, but we will gain mastery when you're true in faith. And so every challenge will represent another opportunity to grow.
You mentioned Monday. Please expound on Monday and how the citizens of Fort Myers can be involved in this whole process.
Monday is significant. It's not
that will be September 23rd.
September 23rd, 5 o'clock. We're assembling at 4:45. It's significant because it's a part of the political process. In other words, always remember, when we talk about city dollars, county dollars, these are taxpayer dollars. This is money that belongs to each and every one of us. Every time we purchase something, every time you pay bills, you're paying your taxes. That's money going to the city and the county. So when you talk about these dollars, they're not just with the members of the board. These are our dollars. And so we encourage participatory democracy, which means show up, let your voice be heard, stand up for what is good and what is right and what you demand. And you should receive something from that if you have representatives that respect you and value your voice and your presence.
What is your hope that would happen Monday?
I would hope simply that the council understands, that they hear the concerns of the citizenry in which they're supposed to represent, and that they would release the dollars during this budget period of time to all 26 nonprofits, and then work with the nonprofits over the next year to do whatever is necessary to how would you say, adjust budgets, etc. But it's important that we understand that the Stars complex is not the mothership of the city. It's an entity to provide mostly recreational activities. It's valuable. It deserves to be funded. And at the same time, don't devaluate these nonprofits that have been serving in the community, rescuing lives, bringing about opportunities for young people and their families.
Crystal Johnson, a community activist, has been very outspoken about this. I saw where she has been like leading community awareness and galvanizing the community to be educated about this point. Speak to her.
Yeah, Crystal is a spirit, is a soul that is touched by the needs of her community. She's a mother. When she sees injustice, you're going to hear her voice. And she actually sparked the interest that caused that Community Awareness Day to take place a couple of nights ago on Wednesday. And so Crystal plays a key role. And what's interesting is that Crystal has been a major advocate for the Stars complex. historically. Her voice has been heard to bring more resources to the Stars complex. And sometimes people may not like to hear her voice, but she's speaking on behalf of the children. I have a great deal of respect for her and appreciate her.
And finally, I go back for a second. I will let people know that I was one of the early board members for the Stars Quality Life Center. It's like a badge of honor for me. I can
And swim instructor.
That's right. And I can remember the days when there was no physical building. There was eventually we're out at trailers and you know,
We were
being
nomadic
accommodated
all
different.
over.
We were all over like nomads, and eventually got stabilized down in Oasis on the corner of Quality Life Center Way and Martin Luther King Boulevard. We know, I know you well enough to know that the Quality Life Center will continue to thrive.
God willing.
However, after, let's say Quality Life Center gets the funding from the city this year, is it fair to say that this funding should be ongoing because of the services that you provide that benefit the city?
I think so, and in no way have we relied totally on the Stars, on the city's dollars. Remember that amount of money, if I just lump that into utilities and water and lights, etc., that might last us about 5 months. And so the dollars that we bring in to run this program is significant, coming from multiple sources. Again, I think it's important that I make this statement that the city has been a good partner. It has made it possible for us to achieve and accomplish a lot that we have accomplished over the years. And my comments is not designed to badmouth the city. It has been a true partner, and at the same time, we have kept the trust in providing services for the families in Fort Myers.
Well, we hope the city will step up to the plate
I do
and
too.
continue to support an Oasis in our community that's doing outstanding work. I want to thank you for coming out and sharing some more insight on this and encouraging people to be out on September the 23rd to the Fort Myers City Council meeting. I think you said be there for what?
4:45.
4:45 to show your support.
Yes.
We'll see you.